Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar today on updating from Genie version 9 to version 11. I'd like to begin our meeting by acknowledging the traditional custodians on the land on which we stand. Here in Perth, that's the Whadjuk people, and I'd also like to pay my respects to elders past and present. My name's Alexei and I'll be guiding you through the steps today on how to update to version 11. At the end, we're going to have a chance for you to ask any questions with Braiden, the team leader of our technical support team, joining in. Today's webinar will be recorded and sent to you within the next 24 hours so that you can watch it back or share it with your team. In today's webinar, we're going to be going through why it's important to update and the benefits of version 11. We're going to look at what end of V9 support means for you, the step-by-step guide on how to update, and some tips for a smooth version 11 update, and then finishing off with that chance to ask questions. Great. So why do we encourage people to update? There's three main reasons. Number one is security. If you're a Windows user, then using any operating system below Windows 11 or Windows Server 2016 are no longer supported. This means that you won't be provided any security updates from Microsoft, leaving your computer more susceptible to viruses and other malware. If you're a Mac user, then while not as susceptible to viruses, each OS version upgrade also includes security updates to keep your data safe, with only the current OS Tahoe and two previous major versions, Sequoia and Sonoma, still supported. Keeping your Genie up to date allows you to remain compatible with the latest operating systems and continue receiving important security updates. Second reason is stability. In moving from version 9 to version 10, Genie was updated to a 64-bit application, while between version 9 and the latest version 11, the database version we build on has actually been updated 5 times. We've been able to take advantage of these structure updates and the new features available for our developers to work with to increase stability, while also doing some work on the appointment book to improve performance. The third and probably most exciting reason is new features. Over the course of building version 10 and 11, the Genie development team have been very busy improving existing features and adding some new ones, with more coming in every release. So, what are the big ones that you're currently missing out on? Here's a list of our really top hitting ones. There's a lot more than just this. But one of the most requested features over the years has been more flexibility around automatic SMS reminders. This is now available from version 10.3.1 with the added ability to set up templates based on both provider and appointment type, allowing you to send extra information to new patients, special details for telehealth appointments, an added bit about remembering to bring a referral if it's a 1-year recall, or anything else you might want connected to a particular appointment type or slight differences. Version 10 has also seen a huge uplift in the letter writing module, with it completely rewritten to be 64-bit compatible. The toolbars have been simplified, the right-click menu has added functionality, and you even now have the ability to add tables to your letters. For many providers, linking pathology and radiology results is a daily task, and with a huge number of results, every extra click adds up. For those who don't add the action list, there's now the ability to turn on the quick linking feature of results to hide that pop-up box and cut down the number of clicks needed for every result. In every medical practice, there's an abundance of paper, even after you go paperless. So one of our big work points has been to eliminate as much paper as we can and streamline processes, while also reducing phone calls asking people to resend you lost paperwork. To do this, Genie now includes e-prescribing, e-requests for pathology and radiology, e-bookings for theatre lists at some hospitals, My Health Record upgrades, and Australian Immunisation Registry conformance work, with lots more exciting changes planned for this area in the next year. So what are we going to start working on now? We'll be working on improvements to the eRequest workflow to make it even simpler for users while continuing to add more participating radiology providers. We'll be adding even more improvements into e-bookings. We're going to keep updating the e-scripts to stay conformant with the latest ADHA standards. Plus, we'll be integrating more AI scribes so that you can choose the one with the best features to meet your needs. And this is just a few. There will be some other small quick wins and things coming too. In today's webinar, we are really focusing on updating your current Genie to version 11, but we do understand that that move might not be the best option for everybody. If your server's too old to allow for a Genie update, or you've been thinking about moving away from desktop applications to the cloud, we can also assist you with moving your database across to Gen 2, our cloud-based SaaS product. Being on Gen 2 means access anywhere that you have internet connection, while we handle all of your security, backups and upgrades with no need for you to plan any downtime. Genie end of support. So what does it mean for it to no longer be supported? From the 1st of July 2026, Genie v9 will continue to operate and function. However, it will no longer receive version-specific support and training from our customer experience team. So that includes troubleshooting or v9-specific support inquiries and v9-specific training. While never an easy decision to make, v9 is now over 5 years old, and since the update to 64-bit application, our infrastructure does not allow us to develop further updates for such an old version, meaning any bug fixes, conformance work, including the changes being made by Medicare in 2026, and improvements can only be released in version 11 and above. So running an update can often feel very daunting, especially if you haven't done it before or it's been quite a few years. So the best way is to take it one step at a time. If you're on a version of Genie earlier than 10.2.3, you'll need 2 or more jumps to update to the latest version. You can see what version of Genie you're on in the top left-hand corner of your appointment book. If you're on a version earlier than 9.3.9, you're going to need to update to that first. From any versions between 9.3.9 and 9.4.7, you can move straight up to 10.2.3. Then once you're on 10.2.3 or higher, you can jump straight to the most recent release of version 11. So let's take a look at how you do that in a bit more detail. I'm not going to deep dive into each of these stages right now. You can find detailed information in our knowledge base pages about this. But as this is a large update, there's a few extra steps to be aware of. Here's a handy flowchart to follow and tick off as you go. So how can you make sure that you have as smooth an update as possible? Step 1 is preparing. So taking the time to prepare before starting an update is vital. Prior to the day of your planned update, there's quite a few things that you can do to get ready. First off, make sure that you've chosen a patient-free time to run it, where there's flexibility if the update takes longer than you expect. Don't start it just before a clinic is due to start. Many practices run them late in the afternoon or on weekends or patient-free days. Next up, it might sound really simple to say, let everybody know that Genie will be unavailable, but confirming when you first book it in and then reminding everybody a day or two before, just in case anything urgent has come up, can make all the difference in how smooth it is for the patient experience. Having your passwords ready to go also means no possible roadblocks partway through. So when we say passwords, this includes the main password for your server in case you need any admin access, the passwords for any client computers, especially if you're on Macs, as you'll need the password to install the client, and the password to actually access Genie itself so that you can launch it after you run the update. If anybody in your practice is still using data replication to work remotely, then make sure that you have the laptops on site ready to go. Bringing them after the update is complete will mean that you can't actually import any logs that might have been stored on those computers from an earlier version of Genie, and that information is going to be lost. Depending on your internet speed, it might take longer than you expect to download the installer file. To save time on the day, make sure all of the installers that you need are already downloaded straight off the knowledge base and saved on the server and possibly a client as well, ready to go. Genie version 10 and above are only able to run on 64-bit computers. If you have an older server, you may need to double check it's 64-bit and actually meets our minimum hardware specifications prior to scheduling an update. You don't want to start it and then find out you can't launch the program. If your server is a Mac, then it needs to be running Mojave for the move from version 9 to 11, as this is the only system able to run both those versions of Genie. Then once the update to version 11 is complete, you'll be able to update your Mac to the latest system to take advantage of their new features. Lastly, if you access HealthLink online forms via Genie, you'll need to re-enable HTTP after updating. Please submit a request on our website and select Enable HTTP from the Custom Inquiry dropdown, and our team will send you out instructions that you can have ready to be able to follow to re-enable the functionality once your update's complete. So what else do you need to do? So directly before updating on the day, make sure that you link any new incoming letters. So these are your letters coming in via HealthLink or medical objects. Any letters that aren't linked prior to the update will need to be resent by whoever's sent it to you following the update. So much simpler if you just link them in before. If you do receive any transcribed letters from a transcription company and are currently importing these using Genie's import transcribed letters functionality, reach out to them and ask them to send any new letters as a .docx files rather than the standard .doc. The biggest one is take a backup. If you forget every other step, please remember to do this one. And if you aren't sure when you should be taking a backup, take an extra one just in case. It's unlikely you'll need it, but if you do have an issue, we can very quickly help you roll back to it and investigate what went wrong so you can try again. Without a backup, the process of repairing a corrupt data file is usually much longer and can result in some data loss. Last off, you would have seen in the flowchart that one of the steps is to run a verify. This is to check that your data is tidy and that you're not running the risk of taking any corrupt data into the update that could possibly cause issues. So what do you need to do after you've finished your update? Well, after updating to Genie version 11, we do have an extra step that you wouldn't have had to do before and you won't have to do again, and that's that you will need to manually re-import your letterheads. This doesn't happen automatically. Re-importing your letterheads can be done either in Genie Solo on the server machine or through the Genie client. If you're wishing to set up your letterheads on a client, there will be a folder called letterheads on the server that you'll just need to copy across to your client machine or a shared network folder. We've got a great knowledge base article to assist you on this process if you do get stuck. If you're updating from Genie 10.2.6 or below and have previously applied the Mac OS workaround for HealthLink on Genie version 10, you're going to need to contact HealthLink and just ask them to reconfigure their application. During the update process, the Genie applications have all been replaced by the new Genie version 11 apps. It's recommended that you re-whitelist your Genie applications in any antivirus software you might have installed. Otherwise, you might find that you can't open it or that some functionality is actually blocked. And if any of your Mac computers at the practice are running an OS between Catalina and Sonoma, you're going to need to ensure that the Genie applications and the installer are enabled to run with Rosetta. You should receive a prompt to install Rosetta if Genie is the first Intel-based app to run on your Mac. Otherwise, the installer and client application should function without any further configuration. Now, during the update, you will have configured your automated Genie backup preferences. You should confirm that these are set up correctly and are backing up all of the necessary files. If you do have any issues, our support team are always very, very happy to help with questions you have around backup settings to make sure that they're correct. So you've managed to run your upgrade. What should you do if you do have a problem? If prior to starting your upgrade, you find that there's an error in the verify step, don't continue on with the upgrade as you do need to resolve this before going further. Please email a copy of the verify logs directly to our support team. They'll investigate and assist you with resolving it, and then you'll be able to continue on with your smooth upgrade. A very common question that we do get asked during the upgrade is around certificates. Luckily, this is also one of the easiest to answer. Previously, there were multiple certificates stored in your Genie for securely transmitting information to third parties. You might still have that PKI certificate CD that Medicare posted you when you first started, hidden in a filing cabinet somewhere. These have gradually over the years been replaced with certificates that we manage for you on the platform and have finally reached a point where there are no locally stored certificates left. So when you get an error about exporting or importing stored certificates, you can click through that and ignore it. There's nothing there that you have to worry about. If you have any other problems during the upgrade, take a screenshot of the error message and send that along with any other details to our support team to help. They'll work with you to resolve it, but if you're running it out of hours or need Genie backup quickly, you should roll back to your backup, continue on as you were before, and then the team will be able to help you plan for a smooth second attempt. If you do have any issues post-upgrade, reach out to support via either email, live chat, or phone during business hours for their help. The more detail you can give them, the easier it's going to be able to resolve your issue. So either screenshots or just being able to tell them exactly what error messages you've seen is very much appreciated. And just a heads up, if you are planning on running your update over the holiday break, we will only have limited support via email or live chat between the 22nd of December and the 4th of Jan. If all of this does sound like a lot and you're not sure that you want to run it, your other option is to reach out to an IT provider. We have a great list of some providers that we recommend that we're happy to help you out with if you need. So that wraps up the presentation section of the webinar. Braiden, our technical support team leader, will now join me to answer any questions you might have about updating. Please pop them in the Q&A below and we'll get through as many as we can. We've just had our first question come through. So we've talked about this support cutoff for the 1st of July 2026, but can we upgrade after the 1st of July?
Yes, you can update after that 1st of July cutoff. However, support it will be a bit more limited for version 9 after that point. As it is an older version, it's less experience with it because it's not one that we sort of work with too much anymore. But we absolutely can do those updates after that date.
Great. Had another one here. So can you give a rough estimate how long would an upgrade usually take to perform, especially one this big?
It's a very difficult question to answer exactly how long that might take. It varies quite a lot depending on your machines, how fast and how recent your machines are, and then also how you use your data. So depending on what features within Genie you use the most, there's different types of data that are stored different ways, and some of them take a little bit longer to update than others. It is generally something that you would want to allow a few hours for because we are doing multiple sequential updates, but future updates will be much faster after this big jump.
Perfect. And when we talk about saving the letterheads, does that include the golden sheets, or could you give a bit more info on that?
So that's the letterhead that you can insert with the letterheads expression. That gets pulled from either your practice or user preferences. That goes on to all sorts of areas, can be used in your merged letterheads, referral letters, and on invoices. What our update does is it does sort of export them, and then you can just reinsert them back in. It's just because of that letter writer upgrade, there is a manual step to convert them over.
But we don't need to redo all of our golden sheets, do we?
No, we don't generally need to redo all the golden sheets, though it is worth double checking them, especially the ones you use the most.
Perfect. And how can you enable the HTTPS feature if you're using HealthLink?
So in recent versions of Genie, we are HTTPS by default. However, HealthLink have not yet updated their online forms, Aduro forms, which are used for submitting those applications to various government bodies and so on. They do need to release an update to enable HTTPS with that. However, if you're not using the forms and just using HealthLink for correspondence, letters, and results, that doesn't require that change. It's only the forms that needs it.
Perfect. And will the user version of Genie look similar to version 9 when we upgrade, or does it look completely different?
The latest version looks overall very similar. There's a few new and updated windows, but for the most part, everything is where you expect it to be. The letter writer is changed, so when you're writing a letter and doing some formatting, that will be a little bit different. And when you're working on SMS, in particular, those templates and automations, that's fully rebuilt. But most of the other features are very similar and easy to pick up after the update.
Right. And if anybody does want more help, we've always got our training team available that can do either remote or on-site training to go through those new features and help. So what cost is involved in the updates?
From us, there's no cost. This is part of your subscription. You're always able to update to the latest version. You may have some IT costs if you are using an IT provider or IT company to come in and assist you with that. If you're doing it yourself, there's no cost there.
Always nice to know. I've got another question on the templates. So we use a lot of templates for typing letters and op reports. Will they still be there in the new letter writer, or do we need to re-enter the letter templates?
The templates themselves, they stay. There's no problems there. It's only the letterheads that are done through the preferences that need to be re-entered.
Perfect. And where to read up how to upgrade. So we will, at the end of this, when we send out the recording of this, we'll send out all the links to those knowledge base pages to you as well, so that you can read the full pages on how to upgrade, what you need to be doing, and look at the steps in detail. We don't expect you to remember everything we've said today just from one watch.